Really?
Yeah, rejects all the prophets.
Well, to be a Muslim, you have to have belief and belief in all the prophets. So
Well, here's a question. Can you believe in someone but reject what they stood for, their message that they came with?
we don't reject what they stood for now.
Okay, so if it do appear that you guys reject what they stood for or what they taught, then you are rejecting him, right?
What did they stood for? What did they taught? What did they teach?
Well, for example, the thought that God will come and as a man and die for the sins of the people, and that they also taught that God is a father, and you guys seems to reject that,
That's not their teachings.
huh?
That's not the teachings of Moses and Abraham and
Yeah,
Jesus.
Moses taught that God would die for the sins of the people. Not even that, he taught that he's a father.
No, the message of Moses and Abraham was of one God. They
Hmm.
were prophets of God, and they were sent to teach the message of one God.
And according to Moses, that one God is a father, right?
Well, in which cases does Jesus claim that he is that he is that Father, and that he is that Son, and that he is that God that is sent?
Well, no, Jesus is not the father. So let's focus on what Moses believed to be God, right?
Yeah.
So obviously Moses believed that the God is multi-personal. If you read the whole book of Genesis, you see that all over. And not even that, he
But these are the
went.
claims made in the Bible.
Say that again.
These are the claims made in the Bible.
What was sent to Moses then?
Moses was sent with the Torah.
How do you know that?
Literally, it's part of your beliefs as well. Moses was sent with the Torah.
Well, apparently you are rejecting my belief, right? I want to know, how do you know that? You just
Your
reject.
beliefs are the Bible.
Okay,
Moses was
so
sent with the
it sounds like you're appealing to what I believe. Then you're appealing to the Bible that you try to
Torah.
reject,
You're
right?
making these claims based off what the Bible is saying.
Okay,
But
so
Moses was,
okay, you just said that Moses was sent a Torah. Can you prove that? How do you know that?
how do we know that?
Yeah,
Well, in the Bible and in the Quran,
show me.
you have proof. In
Yeah.
the Quran, we have chapter. I have to go back and look at it, but yeah, we have a few chapters in the Quran
Hmm.
clearly stating that Moses came with the Torah.
Okay, show me.
Okay. Most.
Yeah, he's not gonna find it. The best he's gonna do is give me he's gonna give me a death or a tafsir. That's about it. Guess he's looking for it. Went off the screen. By the way, I can't hear you when you are on the screen, friend. Make sure you come on it before give me your answer. Make sure you guys are liking the stream. For the people on YouTube, welcome in, guys. If you are new, make sure you do subscribe. By the way, guys, again, I'm gonna keep mentioning it because it's an exciting news. We just hit 2K subscribers, so appreciate you guys for making that happen. I really, really appreciate it. But let's keep it going. Make sure you keep liking the stream and also share if you could. Yeah, let's keep it going.
Okay. If you
Yeah, you gotta
if you
come
go to
on stream,
chapter,
man.
if you go to chapter 5, verse 44.
I'll read it for you, or you can read it if you're not gonna get off the screen to make it easier for me.
You just go ahead, read it. I'll pull it up.
Chapter 5, verse, what verse you said?
44.
All right, 44. All right. Let me know when you want me to. Okay, you said, okay, I'll read it.
Yeah,
It
go
says,
ahead.
indeed, we sent down the Torah in which was guidance and light. The prophets who substituted, who submitted to Allah, judged by it for the Jews, as did the rabbis, the scholars, but that which were they were entrusted of the scriptures of Allah. They
Who
were
was the prophet sent
witness.
to the Jews?
Say that again.
Who was the prophet sent to the Jews?
Well, Jesus was sent to the Jews.
Yeah, but he was given the Bible.
Again, I want to know who was given the Torah. You say Moses. So
Yeah.
you
So
asking
here,
me who is the prophet? John the Baptist was sent to the Jews. Jesus was
John the
sent to the
Baptist,
Jews. Yeah, Yahya.
but they
You
weren't.
call him Yahya.
Yeah, yeah. But Moses was out of all of them was the only one who was given scriptures.
Well,
So
and
then,
Jesus.
and Jesus, correct?
Well, and you also have David was given a psalm, but
Yeah, David was.
Moses, you made a claim that Moses was given the Torah, but it doesn't
Yeah,
say that here.
it says we gave the Torah to the prophet who submitted himself to the Jews.
Okay, again, it doesn't say that Moses was given the Torah.
Here, if you actually look at the verse, you'll
hmm
see who is it talking about.
I'm looking at it. Show me, man. I'm looking at it.
He said, "Okay, let me put it up right here. So we can read it together."
Okay. You got the police knocking on these doors. Yeah, everything you guys are gonna say here, you're gonna have to prove.
Okay, so we read it together.
Okay.
Indeed, we revealed the Torah, containing guidance and light, by which the prophets who submitted themselves to Allah made judgments for the Jews.
Okay.
Same page.
I don't got no problem with that.
Okay, so who's a prophet who received scriptures
Yeah.
and submitted themselves to the Jews?
I literally just gave you example. By the way, according to your book, all the prophets came with scriptures, right? So
No.
yeah.
If you go to verse,
You want me to give you the verse that says that you're supposed to accept
87,
all the
19.
prophets and their scriptures and not make a distinction between them? That's what your Quran says. That all the prophets.
87:19 clearly states to give scriptures to Abraham and Moses.
Okay, I want to know who was given the Torah because you made the claim. Because you're not going to run away from this unless you say, you know what, brother, I misspoke, or I don't have a verse. So I need a verse that says that Moses was given the Torah because that's the claim that you made.
Moses,
hmm
so in the Quran we have four prophets who were given the books, correct?
Okay.
And one of those prophets was Moses.
Yeah,
Now,
I want you to prove that.
Which book was he given?
I don't know.
Give me another second.
Because I was trying to go to the Bible and you rejected it. So it's up to you now to prove what book Moses was given, and maybe we can appeal to that because we're talking about Moses. So since you don't want to go to the Bible, I'm hoping that you got Moses' scriptures. So go ahead, give it to us, man.
Okay, chapter 2, verse 87. We'll go there. This one is not enough for you.
All right. Well, you have to admit, Abdul, this doesn't say anything about Moses being given the scriptures, right? You have to admit that.
You believe that Moses was given scriptures, correct?
Again, your Quran claims all the prophets were given scriptures. That's why you're not supposed to make a distinction between them. So
There are four books sent down that we believe in Islam. One of those was given to Jesus. One of those was given to Muhammad, peace be upon him. One of those was given to David, and one of those was given to Moses.
yeah, and you gotta prove that. You can't just make a claim like that. So you said two. What you said 80 what?
87, 287.
Okay. 287. Let's go to it. Let's see what that said here. You can read it if you're already there.
Okay. Indeed, indeed, we gave Moses
We gave Moses what?
the book and made him a successive messenger.
I don't know. What is that book though?
And that book is clearly the Torah.
What? That's what you need to prove. I know Moses was given a book. You believe that the Quran is a book. The Injil is a book. Even the Psalms is a book. But you said you made this claim that Moses was given the Torah. So you gotta prove that Moses was given the Torah. For example, I can show you a verse where David was given Torah. I mean, a Psalm, and where Jesus was given the Injil. But you just made a claim that Moses was given the Torah. Show me.
I mean, I've showed you twice.
I got the verses here. I can read them to you if you want.
Go ahead.
So, for example, the one you just read here, it says, "Indeed, we gave Moses the book." What is the book?
And the book is clearly known as the Torah.
Well, is the Injil a book?
The Injil is also a book, correct?
Okay, is the Quran a book?
Mm-hmm.
Is the Psalm a book?
What is the Psalms? That's the Zabur.
Yeah.
As we know it as the Zabur.
Yeah, is the Zabur a book?
Yes.
All right. So I need you to prove that this book here is the Torah. Because you made the claim.
I need you to prove. Okay. I mean, that's two. Okay. So if you go back and look at the first verse that we did, what was that? 5:44, and it says that we sent. What's it called? We gave the. What's it? It says we gave the people of the, we sent the Torah to the people of the Jews.
Okay.
To a messenger from the Jews. And clearly here, we know that Moses was sent to the Jews. So وَلَقَدْ آتَيْنَا مُوسَى الْكِتَابَ. Now it says, indeed, we gave Moses the book. So if you put two and two together,
who Jesus was sent to?
Jesus was sent to the Jews.
Okay. So you telling me that Moses was sent to the Jews? Hold on, bro.
Jesus was given the what?
Hold on, brother. You telling me? Hold on. Let me just get this out. Okay. You telling me that Moses was sent to the Jews, therefore he is the one who received the Torah? Doesn't tell me anything. Yahya was sent to the Jews. Almost all the prophets were sent to the Jews in your logic, in your Quran. So you telling me, oh, Moses was sent to the Jews, therefore he received the Torah? It doesn't prove that.
I said, let's take a look at these two verses that we pulled up here. The first one said that we sent the Torah to a messenger from the Jews. And now clearly here we know that Moses was sent to the Jews. وَلَقَدْ آتَيْنَا مُوسَى الْكِتَابَ. Who received? So now, if you put two and two together, who received the Torah?
Well, that's what you need to prove.
That's what the verses just proved right now.
Nuh-uh. So here's what we got, right? How do you know that this book is not the Quran? How do you know that?
Because Quran was sent to all mankind.
Okay. How do you know that this book is not the Injil?
Which book?
This book that Moses was given.
How do I know that's not the Injil? Because I know the Injil was sent with Jesus.
Okay, so that's a good point because the Quran specifically tells you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you see how I mentioned the Torah, the Quran, and you was able to tell me that the Quran was sent to Muhammad. It's for all mankind. You was able to tell me that. And you have a verse for that, by the way. It's not you just saying it. And I gave you the Injil, and you were also able to tell me that, okay, this book cannot be the Injil because it was given to Jesus, because you have a verse for that. But you don't have a single verse that says we give Moses the Torah. You just have to assume stuff.
We're not assuming here.
You have to assume.
In the first verse that we looked at in 5:44, indeed we sent the Torah to a messenger from the Jews. Okay?
How many messengers that were sent to the Jews?
Okay, but then if you look at 287, who received the book?
Hold on, before we go to 287, do you know how many messengers were sent to the Jews?
A lot, yes.
All of them except Muhammad. All of them. All right, so you saying that, okay, Moses is one of the messengers who was sent to the Jews. It doesn't really help me here.
So what proof did you have that all of them were also given scriptures?
Because your Quran says it.
The Quran clearly here states that we gave Moses the book.
What is that book?
And if you go look at the other verse, we gave the Torah to a man from the Jews. So who was Moses sent to the Jews? So who received the book?
We just went over that. A lot of prophets were sent to the Jews. So okay, that I don't think that helps you at all.
So how many of them received the book? Because in Islam,
all of them received the book. That's what, to be a prophet, you speak for God and you receive a revelation.
And so we know in Islam there's 4 books. So now you gotta say who do those 4 books belong to?
Well, those are just the books that are named. So, for example, how do you know that this book, the so-called book, wasn't given to Yahya, right? The book we don't know, by the way. How do you know the Torah was not given to Yahya, for example? Like you say Yahya, but John. How do you know that?
How do we know what?
That the Torah was not given to John.
Because Yahya didn't receive a book.
How do you know that?
How do I know that?
Hmm.
Because the Quran clearly states that we sent this book to these four prophets.
Well, your Quran says that the prophets came with the message, with the book, with books, and that's why you're not supposed to make a distinction between them. Is it Yahya a prophet?
Yeah, he is also a prophet. Yes.
Okay, and according to your Quran, you're not even supposed to be making distinction between them and the
And where's
book
that
and their
verse?
books.
And where's that verse? I'll go
It's
take a look at that one.
two. Yeah, sure. Let's see here. Chapter 2, 285.
285.
Yeah, I think that one we do. What is the other verse that was so clear? Let me see here. Keeps. Go ahead and read it for me while I'm looking at this other verse. There's a verse that's very, very clear.
The messenger firmly believes in what has been revealed to him from his Lord, and so do not and so do the believers. We all believe in Allah, His angels, His books, and His messengers. They proclaim we make no distinctions between any of His messengers, and they say we hear and obey. We seek your forgiveness, our Lord, and you alone.
Can
Where
you
does it
just
say that?
was that 285? Okay, I might read it here. Let me read it before I look up the other verse. It says that the messenger believed in what was sent down to him from his Lord.
Mhm.
The messenger believes in what was sent down to him from his Lord, and the believers, each one believes in God and his angels, and his books and his messengers, right? You see how it says and his books and his messengers? We
Yes.
makes no division between any of his messengers. So there are multiple books here, and the reason you don't make distinction between those messenger and is because the books is part of it. He sent them, and with the books, and therefore you're not supposed to be making distinction between the books and the messengers. Let me see if I can find a better verse here. Do you see that here, or do I need to find a better one? I'm pretty sure that.
So this one that you're reading, that I can explain it to you quickly.
Yeah,
All right.
go ahead.
So what it means here that we make no distinctions between any of His messengers.
Hmm.
This is talking about having equal respect and belief in all prophets, which is part of the belief system in Islam.
Does it also say books?
The books, when it talks, so look at the verse. So do not proclaim and His angels and His books. They proclaim we make no distinct. The verse says clearly we make no distinction between any of His messengers, not
Yeah,
any of the books. We
but
make no distinction.
it
But
mentions
if you want,
books, right?
all the books are really the same because the Quran says it comes to confirm the scriptures that came before it.
Right,
So
but
whatever the Torah had to say, whatever the Injil had to say, whatever the Zabur had to say,
mhm.
Quran is just a confirmation of that. But
Uh,
here, the verse clearly says we make no distinction between any of His messengers.
I know,
So
but
that's
do you see what it says books there? Do you see that?
it says books here. Yes,
Yes, and those books were sent with the messenger, right?
those books were sent with their messengers. Yes,
And then according to that verse, you're not supposed to be making distinction between the messengers, which
we're
means
not
the
supposed to make
books
a
as
distinction
well.
between the messengers. Basically, meaning, well, we're not supposed to say, "Oh, Jesus is better than
Well,
Moses."
that's not the point. I need you to get the point that I'm making. So all the messengers were sent with the books. That's why you're supposed to follow all the books, not just one. That's what 285 is all about.
The other verse that you're looking for basically says you're looking for another verse in 4:150,
Mm.
where it says, "Indeed, those who believe in Allah and His messengers wish to make a distinction between Allah and His messenger."
No, the point that I'm making here is that the messengers came with books.
Okay.
That's the point that I'm making. And that verse clearly says it says books plural, and it also says messenger. That's why you're not supposed to make a distinction between messengers. If that's just Jesus or Moses and David and who else you said, then that would mean you are making distinction. The fact that it says you're not supposed to be making distinction between the messengers, that means all those messengers. Since it says books, they came with those books there.
Okay. So let's take your logic that So we believe that all that these four prophets are single books, and that clearly makes a distinction between them. Okay, let's take that logic.
What?
Some prophets are able to perform miracles and some weren't.
No, I don't want us to get away from the actual point. You're supposed to be
Yeah, I mean, this is the
You're
point.
supposed to be proving that the Torah was given to Moses. That's what you're supposed to be proving,
And
right?
we did that.
No,
We looked at two.
you
We looked
telling
at
me
five.
you telling me that Moses was given a book. It doesn't help. All messengers was given a book. That was my
And
whole
the verse
point of
that we
this
looked at in
verse.
544
Hmm?
clearly states the Torah was sent to a messenger amongst the Jews.
Yeah, was
We already
Yahya among
discussed
the
that
Jews?
Jesus was sent, that Jesus was given the Injil.
What about Yahya?
So
What was Yahya given?
Yahya wasn't given a book.
How do you know that? I just gave you books. I mean, I just gave you a verse that says that you're not supposed to be making a distinction between all messengers, and it
This
says
verse says
books.
we're supposed to be making distinction. It's not supposed to be, oh, one is better than the other, or one is. That's what the distinction means.
So when
Not,
you're making a
okay,
distinction that Yahya was not given a book, that is a distinction.
that is what happened. Yahya wasn't given a book. It's not a distinction. It's what happened.
But you are making a again. The verse says, "Don't make a distinction." It mentions books, right? Those books were
mentions
sent
books, but
to
don't
those messengers.
make no distinction
But let me
between
finish.
his messengers.
So Abdul, it mentions books plural, and those books were sent to the messengers that you are not supposed to make a distinction from, and you're making a distinction from the messengers right now. Oh, Yahya was not given a
Making a
book.
distinction and saying that one was given this and one wasn't given that. That's not a distinction, no.
What do you think a distinction is? A difference, right?
What the verse is making here by saying a distinction is proclaiming that, oh, one is better than the other. One is far less greater than the other. No.
Okay,
It
can we
says
come? Can we come to an agreement? Because the verse does mention books, plural. That those messengers that you are not supposed to make distinction from, they were given those books.
Yeah, I don't think we're understanding on the same page here. What the verse is meaning by don't make distinction and what the given books.
No, wait.
I mean, if you want to go there,
Let's not waste time on them whether we're supposed to be making distinction between other messengers. Let's put that to aside. Can you read the verse again? I need you to pay attention. The verse specifically mentions books, plural, and it goes on to talk about prophets, plural. It goes on to tell you don't make distinction between those prophets. So since it mentioned books, it's clearly saying that those messengers came with books. That's why you're not supposed to be picking and choosing what book you follow. You're supposed to follow the scriptures. And that's why you're not supposed to be making a distinction between the messengers.
we're supposed to believe in all the scriptures.
Right.
But as far as the scripture that we follow in the Quran.
Okay, let's put that to aside. I want you to get this, that you cannot prove from the Quran that Moses was given the Torah. That is my whole point right now. You
Well,
can't prove that.
we just did. But you want it tonight, so no problem.
So again, are you telling me that Moses was sent to the Jews doesn't prove that he was given the Torah? A lot of prophets, that's what you said.
Did you read the verse? Can we go back to the verse and read it again?
What verse do you want me to read?
544.
You can go ahead and read it. We just read it, and no reason for me to read it again.
No, because I mean you're not understanding.
No, I think I understood it, and that does not prove your point. You want to read it? I don't mind. You
Sure.
can go ahead and read it. I don't
We'll
mind.
go back to it. Okay. 544.
Mhm.
Indeed, we revealed the Torah. Okay? By which the prophets who submitted themselves to God and made judgments for the Jews. So clearly here, the Torah was given to someone who made judgment for the Jews is a prophet for the Jews. So clearly here,
Mhm.
it says we revealed the Torah, not just a book. This mentions the Torah by name. We revealed the Torah to somebody who made judgment for the Jews, so a prophet of the Jews.
No, it says,
we already-
hold on, bro. First of all, it says prophets, plural.
No,
Right?
it does
Let's not
not.
butcher the. It says prophets.
إنا أنزلنا التوراة فيها هدى ونور ويحكم بينهم النبيين.
So let's not butcher the Quran here. Does it say it's prophets or prophet?
Actually, here the translation I'm looking at, indeed, we revealed the Torah containing justice and light, by which the prophets who submitted
Prophets,
themselves
right?
to Allah made judgments for the Jews.
Prophets, correct?
Okay, prophets.
Okay, so you take me to a verse that says a book, and that book mentions it says prophets, not prophet, but prophets. It doesn't prove that that book is the Torah. I don't know how you're
Okay.
concluding
So
that.
now that we're here, where did this Moses getting the Torah go to your original claim that all Muslims don't follow their prophets?
Can you first admit that the Quran does not say that Moses was given the Torah?
I mean, we just looked at two verses that
Brother,
clearly
brother,
are
please,
back.
man. You just read a verse that says that the prophets were given a book. It doesn't say the Torah. And again, it doesn't
So the
say
Torah was
Moses,
revealed to all
but it
prophets.
says prophets. No, the Torah was not revealed to all prophets.
So now, what's your claim?
My claim is you cannot prove from the Quran that the Torah is given to Moses. That's my claim. You have to invert that. Or you have to come up with that, steal from our scriptures in order to know that.
We just looked at 544 and we looked at 287.
Brother,
Both of them.
544 does not help you. One, it says book, and two, it says prophets with an S. I have no idea how you will conclude that book now, because it says a book and it says the Jews, and again, mind you, it says prophets plural. I don't know how will you conclude that's Moses. It makes no sense to me.
Okay, that's what you want to go.
So can we not appeal to the Bible now? Because you do need my Bible.
Well, I don't study the Bible, so that would be your field, not mine.
But that's the Torah, though. The Torah is in the Bible.
Again, that's your field, not mine, so I wouldn't be able to know.
So you have no idea what Moses was given. You have no idea what he taught. How you claim to follow someone that you don't know what he taught?
We know that Moses was given the Torah. We know that Jesus was given the Injil.
How do you know?
that
how do you know that Moses was given the Torah? Do we have to do this again?
literally just came from a 20-minute conversation of me just explaining to you how Moses was given the Torah.
And
that's what you
failed miserably. But I can tell you this. You don't know what Moses was given. You will have to use my scripture to know what Moses was given. Right? That's number one. And two, the reason we're over here is because you have rejected my Bible. You rejected the Torah that I was trying to quote you. You was like, oh, that's in your Bible. That's why we're here. You have to use my Bible. You have to.
That's what you want to get at.
No, it's not that I'm trying to get. I'm trying to show you that your Quran literally is my Bible.
But I mean, if you want to reject that, I can't force you.
But can we go ahead and use the Torah that is in my Bible? Can we do that now? Do you see why we have to use the Torah that it is in my Bible? Do you see that?
If that's what you want to get at, go ahead.
Right, it sounds like, I got other guests who are trying to come up and actually have a conversation. I don't want to force you to do anything, bro. Like, if you're not ready for this conversation,
honestly,
it's fine.
I mean, yeah, no problem. Thank you for letting me come up.
Man, you were just respectful, so you can come back anytime, bro.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, take care.
You too.